Darkness couldn't contain you. They threw you into the dark thinking you would disappear. They shut the doors. They locked the light away. They stood back, confident, certain. This is where you end. But listen closely. This is not the story of how you broke. This is the story of how darkness failed to keep you. Because while they thought you were drowning, you were learning how to breathe in the deep. While they assumed silence meant defeat, you were listening to your own heartbeat. Steady, defiant, alive. They mistook your stillness for surrender. They mistook your pain for weakness, and that was their greatest mistake. They expected you to crumble. They expected tears, apologies, a quiet retreat into the shadows. They expected you to beg for a place back at tables where you were never respected. They expected you to shrink, to doubt, to vanish, didn't they? They thought betrayal would poison you. They thought abandonment would empty you. They thought isolation would erase you. But what they didn't understand, what they could never understand, is that you were never powered by comfort. You were forged for storms. You were built for pressure. You were born with fire hidden beneath your ribs. They looked at your wounds and saw an ending. You looked at your wounds and saw a beginning. And that is where the story turned. At first, the darkness was loud. It screamed with doubt. It whispered with fear. It replayed every insult, every failure, every moment they made you feel small. You lay there asking questions only the broken ask. Was I ever enough? Did I deserve this? Why wasn't I chosen? The nights were long. Time moved like it was mocking you. Each second felt heavier than the last. But something strange happened in that darkness. You stopped running. You sat with the pain. You stared into it. You let it speak. And slowly, quietly, you realized something terrifying and beautiful. The darkness had limits, and you did not. You began to adapt. Not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply. You learned how to stand alone without collapsing. You learned how to listen to yourself without needing permission. You learned how to survive without applause. Every scar became a lesson. Every tear became a teacher. Every night you didn't quit became proof. They weren't there when you rebuilt yourself piece by piece. They didn't see the mornings you rose heavy but unbroken. They didn't hear the promises you whispered to yourself when no one else cared. And that was the point, because strength built in silence is unshakable. You didn't come back the same. You came back aware. You came back grounded. You came back dangerous in the calmest way. The chaos didn't consume you. It clarified you. Fire didn't scare you anymore. You had already burned and survived. Loss didn't frighten you. You had already lost and learned. You stopped asking, why me? You started asking, what now? And that question changed everything. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped chasing closure. You stopped seeking validation from people who only understood you when you were useful. Instead, you chose growth. Pain became fuel. Isolation became focus. Silence became strategy. While they were busy assuming you were finished, you were becoming precise. While they were distracted by comfort, you were sharpening yourself in discomfort. You weren't just healing, you were evolving. Then something shifted. They noticed. Not because you announced it, not because you demanded attention, but because your presence changed. Your energy no longer asked for approval. Your eyes no longer searched for permission. Your silence spoke louder than your words ever had. And that confused them. Why weren't you bitter? Why weren't you angry? Why weren't you broken the way they expected? Did they really think you'd stay on the floor forever? They started watching from a distance, whispering, speculating, because nothing scares people more than someone who survives without hating themselves. They wanted regret in your voice. They wanted exhaustion in your posture. They wanted proof that what they did destroyed you. But all they saw was someone standing taller than before, and it shook them. They remembered the version of you they underestimated. They remembered the one they dismissed, and now they were forced to meet the version forged in fire. The power had shifted, not loudly, not violently, but permanently. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need confrontation. You didn't need explanations. Your existence became the answer. Your peace became the response. And that That drove them mad, because they had no control over you anymore. You reached a moment where something inside you clicked. You stopped carrying their opinions. You stopped replaying their words. You stopped letting the past pull you backward. You realized something profound. The same darkness they used to bury you was the darkness that taught you how to shine. You stopped seeing yourself as someone who survived. You started seeing yourself as someone who endured. There is a difference. Survival is escape. Endurance is mastery. And you had mastered yourself. You began to move through the world differently, not rushed, not desperate, not afraid. You walked with the calm of someone who knows they can survive anything. You spoke with intention. You chose carefully. You didn't need to prove your worth. You embodied it. And slowly, inevitably, the world responded. Opportunities aligned. Doors opened without begging. Respect replaced dismissal. Not because you demanded it, but because you became undeniable. Let them stay where they are. Let them remain trapped in old patterns, old fears, old versions of themselves. You don't need them to understand your journey. You don't need them to validate your growth. You've already won in the only way that matters. You became free. This is where the fire turns into light. This is where chaos becomes clarity. This is where you stop reacting and start commanding. You no longer move from pain. You move from purpose. You no longer chase approval. You attract alignment. You no longer fear the dark. You own it, because you know now, darkness doesn't destroy the chosen. It reveals them. They may never admit it, but they feel it, the shift, the difference, the loss of control. They sense the distance between who you were and who you've become, and they know they can't reach you there. You're no longer accessible to manipulation. You're no longer available for disrespect. You're no longer defined by their expectations. You are sovereign. And here's the truth they never wanted you to discover. You didn't need saving. You needed pressure. You didn't need protection. You needed isolation. You didn't need approval. You needed awakening. The darkness wasn't your enemy. It was your training ground. Now you stand here, not flawless, not untouched, but complete. Your scars don't embarrass you, they crown you. Your past doesn't haunt you, it humbles you. Your pain doesn't control you, it empowers you. You carry a quiet authority now, the kind that doesn't shout, the kind that doesn't beg, the kind that doesn't explain. You don't rush toward the future, you walk into it. You don't fear losing people, you fear losing yourself, and you never will again. You don't chase light, you generate it. And no matter how deep the darkness once was, no matter how long the night lasted, no matter how convinced they were that you would never rise, you did. You always do. So if you're listening to this right now, remember, they tried to bury you, they tried to silence you, they tried to break you, but they underestimated what lives inside you. Darkness couldn't contain you, and nothing ever will.